Hey guys, this is C the Pillager with a new video, and this is Tech Deck. And the thing I stated was that I will be making more videos, and one of the things I enjoyed that I said in my first video was that I enjoyed playing Magic the Gathering. Now I know the first video wasn't that great, you know, it was something I did randomly and just wanted to get myself and immerse myself into the world of YouTube, but as I wrote one comment, I'm open to any feedback or anything like that. So basically I'm just gonna put videos of anything that I enjoy, and hopefully you enjoy it as well. You know, as I said, I like playing Magic the Gathering, play video games. I like to watch shows and stuff like that. I'm possibly gonna do a vlog as well. Soon I'm be going to Las Vegas. I'm going tomorrow night. I'm gonna be there around 6 or something like that, so that should be fun. You know, I'm gonna film it, take pictures and all that. I'm sure to have a great time over there. But enough of that. Let's talk about the tech deck we have for today. As I said, I play Modern because Modern, in my opinion, is the best way to go. Modern is a efficient and economical way to play Magic the Gathering, because the thing is, every time you play Standard, you gotta buy the newest set that is out every time, and it's such a hassle to get the best cards of that set. So by playing Modern, you get to keep good cards and you get to expand it in the expanded format that they have. And for example, one of the decks I have is Mono Black Vampires, and this deck is actually pretty fun and I like it a lot, and I'll demonstrate to you what it does and everything. So here's the cards right over here. Here's my deck right here with the color and feel to it. It's all mono black. You gotta make it black because it's all about the black. So the first card that I want to show is a 1-drop. Is Shadow Ellie Denizen from Gatecrash, and what she does is she's a 1-drop 1/1, and it says whenever another black creature enters a battlefield under your control, target creature gains Intimidate until the end of turn. So basically, any creature that comes in while she's active on the battlefield states that you can't really touch me unless you're black or you're an artifact, pretty much. So I carry at least 4 of these. Next card that I have is Blood Artist, which is a 2-drop from Avacyn Restored, and it says whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's a 0/1. Here's the thing, to play him you just have to put him on the battlefield and hope, you know, that a creature that an opponent has dies, or one of your creatures dies, or Blood Artist dies as well. It's a give or take situation with this card, and it's pretty good actually to maintain battlefield control when you have it around. And I have 4 copies of this. The next card I have here is Gatekeeper of Malakir. Now Gatekeeper of Malakir, he is from the World Wake series, I believe. Yeah, I believe World Wake or Zendikar. I don't really remember the logo on it, but he's from an older set, and he's a 2-drop, which is 2 black, and he says whenever Gatekeeper of Malakir enters a battlefield, if it was kicked, target player sacrifices a creature. Now what is great about this card is there's not that many cards that could sack right away, and by playing Modern you're able to play a card like this. You know, maybe there is some right now that you're able to do that, you know, the whole extort shenanigans with Orzhov decks and all that. But basically what I see here is this guy has tremendous potential. This is the kind of card that you don't play immediately and put it in the battlefield. I suggest keeping it in your hand when the time is right, so you could pay 3 mana versus the 2 mana just to bring him in. So when you do the kicker, you could pretty much take it out from there. And I have 2 copies. I'm still debating either I should get, you know, 4 copies in and something like that, but I try to accommodate for the deck. So I don't know if I'm gonna put like 4 Gatekeeper of Malakir or like 2 Blood Artists or something like that. Greatest Magic card staple ever. Vampire Nighthawk is a 2 black, 1 colorless. He is one of the greatest cards ever made in the history of Magic, in my opinion. What he does is he is a flying, Death Touch, and flying lifelink for 2/3. Death Touch is pretty amazing, lifelink as well, and flying as well. It's amazing for a 3-drop, and this is perhaps one of the greatest cards ever made, if I do say so myself. and definitely it falls under the vampire theme and still sees play, you know, throughout everywhere that uses black cards or anything like that. It is a very good stable and it's a great card to have. I run 4 of these. Next card is from Gatecrash. Is a Balustrade Spy. He is a 3 colorless, 1 black, so he's 4 mana drop, and he's a flying vampire rogue. And it says, when Balustrade Spy enters the battlefield, target player reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a land card. Then put those cards into his or her graveyard. And this card is a 2/3, so it's pretty good and decent. This card, I use it for certain scenarios. If you see that there's a person that you're playing against that likes to play spells, perhaps a control deck, this guy is great because he mills them out pretty much. The thing is, I carry only 2 copies of him, so he's pretty great. But as I said, you know, if you want to maintain control, this guy is good to have around in a vampire deck or just any deck in general, if you're playing standard or anything like that. Next card is from Innistrad. It is Bloodline Keeper. She is a 4 drop, 2 colorless, 2 black. She's one of the few cards that came out with Innistrad and Dark Ascension that is able to flip when certain conditions apply. Now, she is a flying vampire, and if you tap her, she puts a 2/2 black vampire creature token with flying into the battlefield. And if you place 1 black mana and pay it, if you have control 5 or more vampires, you may transform her. And this is what she looks like when she transforms. Let me show you 1 second. She looks like this. She turns into Lord of Lineage, a vampire creature, and allows flying. It's a flyer, obviously, as well, maintains it. Other vampires creatures you control get +2/+2. Put a 2/2 black vampire creature token with flying onto the battlefield. And that's pretty much what the card does. And it goes from a 3/3 to a 5/5. So it's really great to have around to put the vampire theme into it. So it's a great staple to any vampire deck, in my opinion. That's why I have it in my deck. The next card I'm going to show you, it is Vampire Nocturnus. Now, Vampire Nocturnus, another great addition to vampire decks because he's a 4 drop, 1 colorless mana, and 3 black. And what he says is you get to play with the top card of your library revealed. As long as the top card of your library is black, Vampire Nocturnus and other vampire creatures you control get +2/+1 and have flying. He is a 3/3, but the potential of this card is amazing because if you have anything black, if you have an all mono black deck like this one here, and you maintain it all black, you will get the bonus regardless of as many turns as you can and everything. I do have, however, I believe 2 cards in the deck that are not black, but still you'll be doing plenty of damage with him. I carry 2 copies of him. And let me reveal my next card, which is Anowon the Rune Sage. And he is a 5 drop with 3 colorless and 2 black mana. He's legendary creature, vampire shaman. Greatest card in my deck, in my opinion. I mean, just read the text and look what it says. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player sacrifices a non-vampire creature. Now, the potential of the deck is this. You run all vampires. Your opponent doesn't have any vampires. They're pretty much screwed. They can't do nothing. Every upkeep, they have to sack. And there's nothing that will stop this beast. And he is a 4/3 as well. Now, the one thing that could prevent it is Cavern of Souls, which is from Avacyn Restored, or any other cards that say, oh, this card changes creature type, whatever. The chances of that happening is limited, but it can happen, you know. As I said, is a modern deck I like to build, and you know, he's a lot of fun to have around, honestly. So I carry 1 copy of him. Next card is Drana Kalastria Bloodchief. For 5 mana, 3 colorless and 2 black. She's a legendary creature as well, vampire shaman, and she's a flyer. According to this, it says if you pay X mana along with 2 black mana, target creature gets -0, -X until end of turn. At Drana Kalastria, Bloodchief gets +X +0 until end of turn. She is a 4/4. This is a card that you could play end game, and you could definitely have great potential by pumping her with as much mana as you want, and then you could put in your arsenal to be sure to take care of the opponents. So she's a great card. She's in my deck as well, so I run one of her. Next card is from Innistrad, and it is Bump in the Night, 1 dark mana. It's a sorcery, and it says target opponent loses 3 life, and it has a flashback of 5 colorless and 1 fire. Now this card is definitely aggressive, and it's a great card to have around when you're playing decks like these. Such shenanigans as control and stuff like that, you really want an aggressive deck to compete. So this card is definitely great to have around. Now here's the thing though, flashback, 5 colorless and fire. You're wondering about that, right? Well, I'll show you in a bit how you can resolve that, and I run 4 of these. Sinister Possession is my next card from Gate Crash, and it is 1 black mana, and it's an enchantment aura. You enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature attacks or blocks, its controller loses 2 life. The way this card works is that you can enchant a creature. Most likely you will enchant, one of the opponent's creature on the battlefield and suppress it. So every time it tries to attack or block, it will lose 2 life. Most likely they won't do anything about it, and they're pretty much worthless at that point, unless they figure out a way how to take out enchantments at that point. So I run 2 of these. Great card. This one here, Sign in Blood, which is 2 black mana. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Now, the potential of this card is great because it gives you draw card advantage. Obviously, the downside is you lose 2 life, but there's many ways you could play this card. If you really want to get quick and move with aggro, this is definitely the card you want. So you get cards fast into your hand and make sure you do damage. I run 4 copies of this. In rare scenarios, this card can be used just to do damage to your opponent. You could just do damage, and then if they have more than what the hand asked for, which is 7 card limit, they have to discard cards. So yeah, this is a great card all in all. This card is Staboon. It is 2 colorless and 1 black mana. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2 at the beginning of the upkeep of enchanted creature's controller. That player loses 2 life. Another great card to have around. I was debating either I would put Mutilate or any card like that, which is another one which I'm still debating whether to put it in or not. And I like this card because it's definitely great and it's good to have around. And it's won me a few games, and I enjoy having that card. So I run 2 of these. Tribute to Hunger. Another great card to have around. So it's 2 colorless and 1 black mana. And it says instant, target opponent sacrifices a creature, you gain life to that creature's toughness. This is great when you have to sack creatures and everything. Now, what's great about this card, it takes away the hexproof shenanigans and the indestructibility shenanigans that cards have. So, example, if I were to go up against a Geist of St. Traff, I use this card, boom, he's gone, he is dead. No questions asked. This is what that card does, and it's definitely great when you're in a pinch. It gives you life as well. So I definitely like this card a lot, and I run 4 of these. Increasing Ambition. This is the card that you use when you really want the best cards in place in your hand. And what's beautiful about it is, it has a flashback cost as well. Now about this card, if for 4 mana, colorless, and 1 black mana, you get to search your library for a card and put that card into your hand. If you cast it from the graveyard, paying the flashback cost, you get to pick up 2 cards. And that's what makes this card very great. It gives you advantage, a great advantage, to go on and possibly have a great hand to win the game. So I run one copy of this. Now, as I said earlier, the Bump in the Night with a flashback cost, 1 fire mana. Oh, what do? I can't flashback it. Well, you got this artifact right here, Prophetic Prism. It is a 2 mana colorless. And it says, when Prophetic Prism enters a battlefield, draw a card. And when you put 1 mana and you tap it, you add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So basically, this is great in 2 ways. 1, you get to draw a card when it enters, and then 2, you can put any color of mana if you tap 1. So I can flash back my Bump in the Night and do the damage. I run 1 copy of this. Perhaps one of the greatest cards ever made, in my opinion, Door of Destinies. Door of Destinies came out in the M14 collection, and it is a great artifact. If you have any themed decks, if you run anything such as vampire, demons, angels, or zombies, or slivers, or any of that sort, this is the card you must have, and it's definitely great. It's absolutely gonna see play in every theme deck, and it is amazing. Why is it amazing? It's a 4 mana colorless drop, and it says, as Door of Destinies enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charge counter on Door of Destinies. Creatures you control of the chosen type get a +1/+1 for each counter on Door of Destinies. So yeah, what it does is it pumps up your creatures, and it's amazing. I mean, just imagine what you can do. It's whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type. So almost everything I have here is vampires. Every time I put a vampire, counter. Another vampire, counter. Another vampire, counter. And then for each challenge counter you remove, you get +1. So yes, the possibilities are endless with this card if you do have a theme deck. That's what makes this card so great. And then to end it off, I carry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 swamps. Now the thing about mana is it's always argued all the time, how much mana should you have in a deck? And this applies to all formats in my opinion. Well, the magic number for me, I believe, is 20. In my opinion, to have in a deck, which is 1/3 of your deck, which consists of spells and creatures. Some people say 22, some people say 21. I like having mana in my arsenal, so like 21 is okay, and 22. Technically, I do have 21 because the Prophetic Prism is another way to get mana as well. So 21 cards, basically. No, not 21 cards. Yeah, 21 mana is what, you know, typically what players usually use, and that's basically what it is. So even in standard and in modern and in legacy and everywhere, people will be talking about how much mana should be in a deck, if it's consistent, if you're able to have the mana in your hand. You pray that you don't mulligan or that you don't have a good hand with having mana in your arsenal in order to pump out the creatures or spells or anything of that sort. And that's what it is. And honestly, this is one of the decks I built, and I enjoy it a lot. I don't know if I'll modify it. I really do enjoy it. Another deck that I'm working on is called Snapcaster Shenanigans, but that deck is still in progress and it's in work because I still gotta get more Snapcasters, which, you know, is very sought out. And it's pretty interesting. It's something different that I try to do. The such cards that I'm going to put into it is Ralzeric and Tamio, Snapcaster, and 1 Jace, Architect of Thought. And that'll demonstrate to you when it's complete. But right now, still working on it. There's going to be a modern card. It's probably going to be one of the best decks that I'm trying to build. It requires a lot of time and thinking, and I'm trying to tinker it out to get it to work. So it'll take me a while, but I'll figure it out how I'm gonna get that deck all together. And in the meantime, well, this is my second video. Sorry if it's not that great or anything like that. You know, as I said, like, I do these videos on random and stuff like that. If you want, comment, give me any suggestions. I accept any feedback, positive, negative, whatever it may be. And yeah, this is the first tech that I did, and I enjoy doing this. And you know, if there's anything you'd like to tell me or suggest, you could leave a like, you could subscribe if you want. I'm gonna release more videos as well. The video quality will get better with time. I did use a better camera this time around. It's not a cell phone camera, it's actually a legit camera, which you can actually see, you know, text and all that, and then actually have it on a tripod this time around. But yeah, this is the tech deck that I did, and soon I'll release more videos. But I'm going to Vegas soon, so tomorrow I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be out of town, and the next video will probably come out in 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. All right, this is See the Pillager signing out. I'm out.